topics. Papa J, Z Money Book, the NSFW show, nerd stuff and freaking wrestling. Papa J in the building, better buckle up. For my fans, I'ma drink out the Stanley Cup. Like I said, now Bell better buckle up. And I got my people with me, what the fuck is up? Bo back in the building with a new sound. Coming in loud, breaking through the crowd. NSFW, best show round. And I'm a big boy, so I know I make my family proud. Z Money in the building, yeah, I'm going up. First episode, fans showing love. NSFW, nerd stuff, and I'm on a higher level, never coming down. We on a new level, on a new level. We on a new level, on a new level. We on a new level, on a new level. We on a new level, on a new level. The NSFW show, nerd stuff and freaking wrestling. The NSFW show, nerd stuff and freaking wrestling.
Yes, we're back. We missed last week for some reasons, but we're back with the internet's most family-friendly NSFW podcast, nerd stuff and frickin' wrestling. And today is Father's Day, and Bulk is being a very responsible father. He is ignoring his children, and he is here with you, his internet family. Just waiting for this. We're back with the internet's most family-friendly. Yeah, to make sure our sound is working well. But, yes, today is Father's Day, and, you know, fathers mean a lot. You know, fathers are very important for the development of growing children, just as much as mothers are, but, you know, just like this episode says, who's your daddy and what does he do? And growing up as a millennial kid in the 90s, and, you know, a lot of kids other than that, we were raised by our televisions. So who else can be our dads but the sitcom fathers from television? And you know, I cherry picked some of the ones I watched that I remembered growing up. You guys might not even know who I'm talking about half the time. Who knows? You know, we all, you know, not all of us had cable, but all of us, you know, had a good amount of us had access to at least some coat hanger plugged into the back of the TV. That one kid's got to stand and behind, you know, on the side of the TV, just hold that hanger just right, just to keep the static from coming. But I want to give some appreciation to these nostalgic dads of television, you know, and. One dad that's probably from more recent times that a lot of millennial current dads have to live with. But you know, starting off, we're going to start off with some obscure dads. So you know, it's very much so what I believe to be the most obscure sitcom dad in all of television. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you, like, subscribe, join our Discord down below. You could, you know, if you like NSFW, come on down to Big Lip Radio. You know, you could see some crazy stuff there. You know, let me go ahead and... Oh, wrong one. You can go ahead to BigLipRadio.com. You'll know you're in the right place when you see these two ugly mugs, Z Money and Papa J. Z Money is a dad. Papa J is an uncle dad. You get... Big Lip Radio Archives, the Big Lip Radio Store, Lip Service, $5 a month. You can get these two guys fired, even if you don't know them. NSFW Show lives here. The NSFW Show. Right here, bam. NSFW Show, let's see, it's showing me that I'm live now. I'm catching up to myself. And also there's NSFW merch, and there'll be new NSFW Show merch coming up here soon with our main logo. I'll show you... go that right now, but there's also extras that you could find right here. Right now, coming up soon, July 15th on the Big Lip Radio, which NSFW is a part of the Big Lip Radio family, is we have the Pickle and Ramen Show. The Ramen and Pickle Show. Episode 420 of the Big Lip Radio podcast. We are going to be doing a 1 hour long snack time that is dedicated to pickles and ramen. So you don't want to miss that. You know, you could come in here. We got a movie generator, high score challenge, the Papa J Simpin Saturday high score challenge. trivia, prize wheel, just a whole bunch of stuff on biglipradio.com. You could, and we also have other friends here on for the Big Lip Radio and NSFW. We have our friends down at the Arizona Wrestling Federation. Let me go ahead and get that out of the way real quick. Arizona Wrestling Federation Live.com. June 13th was just past High Voltage, but June 27th, that is next Saturday. June 27th is next Saturday. See right there on the calendar. All-American Grand Slam. It's their 4th of July type event right before the 4th of July weekend. Get your tickets. They are relatively inexpensive. You want to take a family of 4 out to go see WWE, it's going to cost you $500 for nosebleeds. You want to take a family of 4 to go see AWF All-American Grand Slam? The General Admission 4-pack with early access, only $89. You want to buy those individually? Bam! That's $120. That is buy 3, get 1 free. You can even, you don't care to get there for the early access match. You could go ahead and get the just the general admin pack, $65. For less than the price of a WWE ticket, you can go to the All-American Grand Slam at Bullshooters, and they got great food. You can get yourself some chili cheese tater tots from Bullshooters, and they are amazing. I fucking love them. They come in a really big paper boat, and you also, if you can't make it out to the All-American Grand Slam, let me tell you this. You won't miss anything, because AWF, mostly every Friday night, at the Arizona Wrestling Federation YouTube page, you can catch High Voltage. That High Voltage on the 13th, you didn't get to go there? Bam! It's right here on the internet. You can watch it. You can see everything that happened. Look right there in the little thumbnail. That's Bukari King. Down here, the Juicy Finale. Fallen Gray, who just signed with WWE ID. A lot of our friends, have come from the AWF. We love them. They tolerate us. But yeah, go ahead and get that. But to jump into this, let's get back to our topics of our dads. I love my dad. So some people got dads, some people don't got dads. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's a shit. We just gotta deal with our lives as it comes. But sitcom dads are always there for us. And starting off my list of sitcom dads, it's from a show I really liked that I thought was a fever dream growing up. It's a show about some dinosaurs. And our first dad, let me go ahead and see if I can get that. Boop. Is Earl Sinclair, the dad from Dinosaurs. He was a sassy dad, very much so. Very, very typical sitcom-y dad, but full puppet suit. One of the best, I would say, little catchphrases came from the show. That they had a baby, they had a teenage, a deep teenage son, like a 16-year-old son, a preteen teen daughter, and then a baby. And we got the wife too. And the baby would always hit Earl over the head and be like, "Not the mama." Yeah. Oh, there's the baby right there. That's that baby. Very much so. Not the mama. Not the mama. Earl was funny. I remember watching, just watching Dinosaurs on the weekend. Very, very sad ending to the show when it got canceled, because it ended with the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs on Earth. It is kind of like they kind of gave it like a nuclear ending for sure. But it's like, instead of dropping nukes, like, oh, we'll be okay by next week. No, it was the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs. So very sad, very sad. But moving on from that, we have our dad of the Full House, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's television father, Mr. Bob Saget, Danny Tanner. Now, Danny Tanner didn't raise his children by himself. He had two uncle dads, Uncle Jesse, and I can't remember his name. Everybody knows Uncle Jesse because he's played by the Italian heartthrob. What are the uncles in Full House? So it is. His brother-in-law Jesse, Uncle Jesse, and Uncle Joey. There you go, Uncle Joey. His three daughters, DJ, Stephanie, and Michelle. In San Francisco, when they made it look like, people could afford to live in San Francisco, which nobody ever was able to live in San Francisco. But Full House, it was on almost any channel. It is on Nickelodeon's, on reruns. It was on cable as reruns. Here's our full cast. Everybody loved this man. She was attractive. Well, Uncle Jesse, DJ, Steph, Michelle. But Full House was one everybody. Everybody knew a Full House. Everybody loved Full House. But you can never really connect with Danny Tanner because he didn't feel, to me, the main of the show. Yeah, it was more about the family, but Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey really took over as being, like the why we're watching the show. But, Bob Saget does have a very lengthy history. If you didn't know Bob Saget from Full House, you knew Bob Saget from America's Funniest Home Videos. And as we are today, that we like to watch people torture and humiliate themselves, we've liked that for years. All right. Now, I believe this is Papa J's favorite television dad, Dan Connor, Roseanne Connor's husband, played by the legendary John Goodman. Dan Connor is very much so a dad that I see myself as, today. He was very caring to his kids, loving to his friends and family, and vindictive to his enemies. Roseanne was a great show because it wasn't, most sitcom families were, like, oh, we're great, we're nice, cool people. Nah, this was like, we're trash Americans. We're your average American family. We're yelling at each other. We're fighting with each other, and Roseanne had a great place in a lot of families' hearts. Dan being one of the greatest. I'm putting him top 5 sitcom dads, and I have to say he's probably number 5 for me. Number 5. The next dad on this list is a little higher for me. Okay, but Roseanne, great show. It came back, but they didn't bring Roseanne back because she's a conservative, and the liberals hate conservatives. So, but moving on, is the dad I related to the most growing up. The dad that reminded me of my own stepfather, Mr. Red Foreman. That 70s shows, Mr. I'm gonna put my foot in your ass. Doesn't know how to show love and care for his fuck up nerdy son that's not a jock like he wants him to be. Red Foreman was great. Kitty Foreman was the very typical suburban denial wife, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with my family. I just need a cigarette. But Red was great. One of my favorite episodes is when Eric takes Red to a Packers game because Red's never been to a Packers game, and Red just finds out that, oh shoot, Eric's a Bears fan. But my son actually fought somebody. This is the proudest day of my life, and nobody's ever gonna believe it. But Red was the dad of the neighborhood that raised everybody else's kids. Jackie, Kelso, Hyde, Donna, who's the next door neighbor, and then Oh, Fez. And Fez, the foreign exchange student, the diversity hire. But that 70s show based in the 70s, and Red was a pretty more progressive dad than what you'd expect from that time era. But yeah, Red Foreman probably number 3 on my dad list. But moving on, got the legendary Ed O'Neill as Al Bundy. He also, this was his first family before he got his modern family. Yeah. And who knows, would you say he traded up, from this redhead's lower suburban wife to Sofia Vergara? I don't know. Moving on up. But Al Bundy, another white trash, trashy American family dad, a mouth only a wife who smokes 5 cigarettes a day could love. Ed O'Neill also played the villain role in one of my all-time favorite children's movies, Little Giants. He's Rick Moranis' brother. But Al Bundy, great. He was a shoe salesman, and people, oh, why don't these shoes fit? Well, maybe if you stop trying to put hams inside of them, they'd fit. His sarcastic voice was endearing, loving. It lives with you. If you watched Married with Children, you loved. You either loved or you hated Al Bundy, and I love to laugh with Al Bundy. They had the dog, a ditzy daughter. They had the ditzy daughter, the ditzy blonde trope, the I can't do anything right for my dad's son trope. But Al Bundy, legendary dad. That's my number 4 right there. My number 4. Moving on. Our favorite cop from Die Hard, who got his own TV show, Mr. Carl Winslow. He had a family, but I would say of this list, Papa J has the most in common with Carl Winslow, because Carl Winslow, you don't watch the show for his children. You watch the show for the neighborhood kid that he raised, for raising Steve Urkel or Stefan Urkel, depending on how the storyline was going. But Carl Winslow was a cop. He worked a lot, and he dealt with Steve Urkel's antics and Steve Urkel trying to pick up on his daughter. He was one great sitcom dad, breaking a lot of molds for that time era, because you didn't have a lot of middle class African leads in shows. You had the Jeffersons that were up on top. They were rich. You had the Cosbys, Bill Cosby, and he. They didn't come out and say it, but Bill Cosby's character in the Cosby Show was rich. He made comparatively rich to Carl Winslow, who lived on the median, I believe, California police salary. Initial single breadwinner. Carl Winslow, great dad. Sadly, he does not make my top 5, but I did grow up watching Family Matters as well. So. Moving on, we got Tim the Tool Man Taylor by Tim Allen. Home Improvement. Home Improvement was a great show. Home Improvement was a great show. It showed an upper suburban dad He had a bit of money, but had money troubles because he's trying to keep Tool Time, his show, working, where he shows people how to use tools, how to do stuff themselves. Really, a show we need nowadays. You can go on TikTok to get that kind of stuff, but it's him and his buddy. He had the neighbor that just like you only ever saw his eyes because he never, you never saw the full person. But he had his white family. And let me go ahead and switch it over here. Home Improvement, yeah. He had the son that had three first names. I can't remember him, but let me see the cast. Home Improvement cast. Let's go. Let's Home Improvement, because it's gonna bug me if I don't look it up. So Patricia Richards, Mark Taylor, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. There you go. Brad Taylor. There you go. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I know that guy was in a whole bunch of stuff, movies and shows. What was he in? The Home Improvement, Man of the House, The Lion King. I believe he was Simba, right? Pinocchio. Hey, Arnold. But anyways, yeah, a lot of people grew up watching Home Improvement. It was a great show. Tim Allen provided us a lot of laughs. He's he is a Buzz Lightyear, I believe. I get it confused on who is who. Yeah, so Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. And Tom Hanks is Woody. Yeah, so Toy Story 5 is just coming out here. Just came out as well. So you got Tom Hanks and Tim Allen back together, Buzz and Woody. But going on to that next one, we have Mr. Phil Banks, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, another Uncle Dad. Phil Banks, raised his nephew, finished raising his nephew, Will, from West Philadelphia, where Will was born and raised. On the playground is where he spent most of his days. But when he was chilling out, relaxing, shooting some beat ball out by the school, there was a couple of guys who were up to no good, and they started making trouble in his neighborhood. He got in one little fight, and his mom got scared and told him he's moving with his auntie and uncle down in Bel-Air. So, a cab pulled up around 7 or 8, good. Said, "Y'all home, smell you later." He looked at his kingdom. He's finally there. He's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But Philip Banks was a great TV. This is my number 2 TV dad. My number 2 TV dad. Give me a quick second, okay? Sorry, I had an executive producer asking me a question. But Philip Banks was he had his son Carlton. He had probably one of the most emotional on-screen Uncle Dad moments in television history, where Will Smith kind of broke character and making sure the sound was still good. But Will Smith kind of broke character. Will Smith's dad came back into his life and said, we're gonna start spending time together again. And Will Smith's dad left him, abandoned him again. And Will Smith had a very off-script emotional monologue of why doesn't his dad want him? It's like, why is he not deserving of fatherly love? A lot of kids going through that now, nowadays. And it's horrible, but I said there's going to be one modern dad on this list. There is one modern dad. And he's my number 1 dad. So as a millennial, I've been forced to watch this show. And that number one dad is Bandit from Bluey. Now, Bandit is, he's a working class dog. Best way to say, he's a working class dog. He's got his two daughters, Bingo and Bluey. Bingo and Bluey. And I forgot the other dog's name. It's the name of the fucking show. Fucking Bluey. So, Bandit is the epitome of a patient dad who's learning still. He's close to. If I could be an ideal dad, it'd be a mix of Bandit and Dan. Which is what I tried to reach. Firm but fair with my kids, but also loving and enjoying with them. It's Bluey's a great show. Gets very emotional at some point. It's just my kids are now at the age where they're they just want to sit in the same room as me. But all kids get to that point. And we'll just, we get to where we get to. There's some video game dads we can talk about. You got Kratos, James from Silent Hill. There's there's a lot of dads in media. Joel from The Last of Us. Papa J's favorite forced to be dad, the main character from Pragmata. He's a dad now. But today's Father's Day. I want to take this moment, appreciate all the dads that have stayed for their kids, the dads that have the men who became dads to step up for other kids. Happy Father's Day from one father to another out there in the world. The curse you are cursed with today on Father's Day is the curse of loving kids. You have many yous that are now running around. 8-year-old boners running around the house. But would I ever not want to be a dad? No, I love being a dad. Being a dad is one of my all-time favorite things. Even though I only give my kids ramen and dry cereal. That's all they're allowed to eat. The steak and pork chops are mine. Joking, very much joking. But anyways, this was a shorter NSFW show. It is Father's Day. I need to go do some things. Spend some time with my children. So you guys have a great night. Hug your dads, love your dads, hug your uncle dads, and because I know there's probably might be one person in the comment that says it. So yes, there are some moms that do double duty, but some moms don't appreciate that there are some dads that do double duty as well. So for the moms that'll wish a dad a happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day, I wish you a happy Father's Day on Father's Day, because you respect and appreciate that there's not only one sex or one gender that does double duty. Sometimes dads have to be moms, and sometimes mom has to try to play the role of dad. And so everybody have a great night, and happy Father's Day. Peace.